Hello, it's Jimmy here at O'Reilly. I have here a Peugeot Partner 2015 with some DPF related issues, emissions, faults. So we'll get inside and have a look. Okay, we're going to start the vehicle up. Usually I think it gives you an error message over here. It may take a minute. We've got engine fault, particulate filter clogging, and I think that's about it. Got a triangular warning down here. Also got particle filter additive too low. So I've made videos on these before, but basically it's all just for your entertainment now. I've showed these faults many times before, but the scary part of this is like this customer and many before him, he's brought this vehicle in, and I've showed before that at a certain mileage or a certain amount of it's calculated based on your mileage and some of it due to age, that when the vehicle reaches a certain age or mileage you will get faults pop up that will tell you need all these expensive parts replaced, and that's what's happened here. So customers come to me to see if I can resolve it at a cheaper price than he's been quoted. Okay, we're going to use the Launch Euro Tab 3 scan tool. We're going to set up a scan, and I have been told some of the fault codes that we have, so kind of know what I'm going to be expecting unless there's something here that I haven't been told about. Okay, so just trigger off a high-speed scan. Going to see what faults we have. Seems to be acting a bit slower than it normally does. Okay, so we're just about finished. When it's trying to find these modules that aren't here, it will keep trying for a few minutes, so that's why it takes so long there. Unexpected reinitialization, that's pretty standard for one of these. Additive, adding the quantity of additive injected into the FAP has exceeded the maximum threshold, so the FAP must be changed. Filtres particulate filter is what the French call it. Basically the DPF, diesel particulate filter, needs to be replaced according to this and according to the mechanic studies that you bring it to. P15B3, additive, adding additive level calculated is lower than the minimum threshold, so the additive tank, Eli's tank or pat fluid has run out. Now this may have been even filled up in the past, but if it hasn't been readapted on here or reprogrammed, then the ECU is just going to assume that it's empty. Now you see on the additive tank on these, it doesn't have a gauge, it doesn't have a fuel level gauge, what you'd have in a fuel tank, and it's just done by the ECU calculations on how many miles it's done, how many times you've filled up with fuel, all that sort of thing. And then the additive exceeded on the particulate filter is just mileage based and time based. It doesn't mean there's actually anything wrong with the DPF. I've shown a couple of videos where I've done some of these vans for couriers where around 100 to 120,000 miles this light's come on. He's come back to me at 260 and then he's come back to me at 320. I've done one of these vans in particular, Citroen version, cleaned the DPF and refilled the additive tank 3 times. That van had done 300 and odd thousand at that time, and it was still on the original DPF. So according to Citroen Peugeot, he should have replaced that DPF 3 times in that amount of time, which you're talking about, you know, to go to Citroen and replace your DPF and your additive tank, I'd be guessing somewhere around the $3,000-ish mark. You know, it's something that you'd have to keep spending that money on. So most of the time these don't really even need a DPF clean, but if it's done 120,000, what I'd normally do is we'd clean the DPF down and refill the additive tank up. So on here we can have a look at what the condition of the DPF is. go into the live data. So right here we have data stream, which is also known as live data, exhaust line information, distance remaining before the particle filter. So you can see there's actually a countdown limit on here for it. Minimum additive level, and we're looking for difference between the pressure of the DPF before and after. So you see it's only on 4 millibars at the minute. 3000 RPM, 57 millibars. Okay, so we've got the van lifted up. We're going to get that tank off in a minute, but I'll just show you inside the actual exhaust tip here. You see how clean that is? Now, some people say to me, you know, that my test doing the finger is not accurate because every DPF's got soot in it. This is a 2015, and you can see that that is shining clean. And it's not a new exhaust, you can see there. Okay, so I've just removed the bolts from this plastic cover. Get that off. You can see there it just covers that section. Here is your Eli's tank, pat fluid tank, or diesel additive tank, whatever you want to call it. So now we'll have up here 13mm bolts, and then we can just unclip it. Okay, so I've just unclipped the fuel hose there. Obviously it's not a fuel hose, but you know what I mean. This is a trick I used. They put the clip in the back of here. You can't get your finger in there, so you use a little pick tool like that just to separate it. I've been asked a few times how do I open them by people, so that's just an easy little trick. Little pick tool and it'll open it. Now I've got the tank in the back of the van. We just use a pair of hose clip pliers to release that. So I'm going to put the tank on the floor, and then we'll gravity feed it in. You see this? It's got a little air breather here, so you keep that at the top, and you just basically let gravity fill that up. You can just about see that going through. It's sort of like a red sticky liquid. Okay, so now we've got 2 litres of that in the tank. It is full to the brim. They should only hold about 1.6 litres, but you can get 2 in there. Right, we've put the tank on. It's all fitted back in. Look how old this DPF looks, alright? I'm just going to give a little bit of thought. Like, this is the older sort of 1.6 engine. How the DPF used to last 250,000 miles on these without issues. The engine as well. Now if you go to the newer 1.5s, these DPFs are failing at 15 to 30,000 miles consistently, and the engines themselves are giving all sorts of hassle. I don't understand why they take a step backwards. It's like, did they realise they made it too good, and that the countdown system they put in just wasn't stopping people from buying a new DPF, so they've just made a worse design so that the vehicle has to come back for repairs. If this is a newer model with the 1.5 engine, I've seen these with this mileage have the DPF replaced 4 or 5 times. Okay, now we're just going to put a flush through it because of the mileage it's done, and we're here. We'll just give it a quick flush out of the DPF. I've gone through 6 of these this year. This is a brand new one again, compressor. They're not very good in the wet. If it rains, they die. But yeah, we'll carry on with this. We've got the engine running on this. This is the DPF pressure sensor down here. So the tube that's on this side. And we're using the gun and fluid from Launch UK. Okay, now we're going to get some foam and some smoke come from the exhaust while we're doing this. We'll hold the revs up to around about 3000 RPM for a couple of minutes, and we'll watch the DPF pressure coming down. You'll see the pressure is a little bit higher than it was because it's breaking down some of the soot now. I don't remember where we were at the start. Was it 70 odd? But a really good DPF on these would be sitting at 3000 RPM, 30 to 40 millibars. They don't really hold a lot of pressure, these ones. So we seem to have evened out around 29 or 28 millibars. Well, it's still coming down actually. Like I said, on these ones, there's not a lot of back pressure on them. Okay, so now this is where the program inside of it comes in. Distance remaining before the particle filter for replacement, and then the minimum additive level. So we're going to go in on this and go to special functions, replacement parts, particulate filter replacement. We'll press OK, and that's complete. Now we need to do the additive tank, after sales, no. Seems like the tank is not listed on here for some reason or another. So what we'll do is go, if you have that issue on these and this is a Peugeot or vice versa, what I'll do is go in as a Citroen. Now you can see if we search this automatically under Citroen, it comes under a Berlingo B9. Okay, so just in the Citroen system, trying to see if we can find the filling of the additive reservoir particulate filter. This one, we'll do that. That has completed. Okay, so running into some issues. Even though it's saying it's reset on the launch, it's not reset. I'm trying to connect my Autel Maxicom MK900 BT. I'll put the link where you can get these from in the video description. I'm trying to connect this to it and it's not recognizing the vehicle whatsoever, so I'm trying to manually type in the chassis number and see if we can just get some sort of connection to this vehicle. It's been a little bit of a pain in the arse to get the machines to do what they're supposed to do on it. Okay, so I'm using this one now. We've finally got it to connect by sort of manually going in and telling it what it is. No, I've clicked on the wrong. Programming the quantity of additive remaining in the pump. So milliliters we have 2,000. Right, let's see if that has worked this time. Okay, so we can see now we have 2,000 milliliters in the tank. It does actually say in there that the tank volume should be 1,020 milliliters, but we've put 2 in. Minimum level is now not reached on the tank. We're no longer getting the beeping up here, and we should no longer have fault codes. There we go. So that as well will answer some question that I get asked almost every day. Which tool would you prefer, the launch or would you prefer Autel? If you're working on 20 cars a week, you're going to need both tools. You will come across this with the Autel where it won't connect to a vehicle. You will come across it on the launch where you can't connect to a vehicle, or it will connect and it's telling you something's reset but it hasn't. That's why you need 2 tools. The only 2 tools really that I would use is a launch and an Autel. I mean, most of the other tools, I mean, they can be used, that's fine. I mean, my particular choice would be Autel and launch, but similar tools to launch I know is AutoFix, and there's a couple of others that use Autofix is the same as Autel, and a couple of other tools use their software. Launch, you have King Bolin, Top Don, Sync Car, they all use launch software, so it's like having a VW and then getting a Skoda. So they're the same sort of car, different brands. Launch is the original brand, so I would, in my opinion, I'd prefer to have that, because the original software is coming from them. It's not getting passed down to Top Don, Sync Car, all these other companies. Same with Autel. I mean, I did have an Autofix as well. It's quite a good tool, but I just prefer to have the Autel. I know the software and the support is going to be a bit better. Okay, so that's it. Peugeot partner, it's all done. We've done a flush on the DPF, filled up the additive tank, reset it all, and we've saved him a nice few grand on what could have been spent. So see you in our next video.
Once again.